All right, mate. Thank you for opening this video and joining this collective. If you're a member of this community, thanks for staying with me. If you're new, hello, welcome. You're going to love this little video. I talk about a lot of important stuff. I do these free online Zoom calls. Well, I don't know, they're online. They're Zoom calls. I do a Zoom call. It's only like sometimes has like 500 people on it. You could be on one of them if you want. It's completely free. Sometimes I bring a teacher on and do breath work or do a meditation. I've done some cool stuff, tapping I've done on there. This time, the last one, I did a guided meditation that I ran myself. I don't know what I'm going to do next time. I could do something with Wim Hof. If there's anything you want, you can comment in this video. Say, oh, what about if you get this person on or this person on? Let me know, because I'll get them on Under the Skin, my podcast, and then I'll get them to do this with me. We had Nick Hayes once who wrote a book. He was a guest on my podcast. He wrote a book. It was about trespassing and the power of trespassing. So let me know in these comments. You'll see that I respond and reply to some of them. Stay in communication with me. And remember, if you can get 10 people to sign up to this mailing list and prove it, I will do a Zoom call with you. Those of you that have already done it, you will receive a notification of when we're going to do it. And watch for information about when the next live online Zoom call thing is too. Let me tell you a few things that are important to this community or this collective or this cabal or this elite. What are we calling it? A lot of people want to call it a collective. Have you been watching my YouTube videos? I've done a really good one lately on Edward Snowden, on the real reason Edward Snowden hasn't been pardoned. And let me tell you exclusively right now, as a result of that video, Edward Snowden is coming on Under the Skin. I'm very excited. This is exclusive information. Don't tell no one about it. This is just between us. I'm going to be starting a new side channel just for yoga and meditation. I'm doing that in support of my new meditation podcast that's going to be starting soon, Above the Noise. We're on Luminary, no additional charge. If you're a Luminary subscriber, you'll get this new podcast where I guide you through meditations. The new side channel is going to be fantastic, yoga, meditation. The new podcast is going to be fantastic. As you know, there are some aspects of this community that are monetized, like, Luminary. I charge for that. My book, Revelation, I'd love it if you would download that, please. It's an Audible original, not a book, it's an Audible original. In the book, Revelation, I talk about how the spiritual life is the only life. I talk about how the pandemic was a revealing event for us as individuals and as a culture, that the world has to change, that the material way is over now, that there are no new ideas in politics, that we need to go within to discover a new aspect of ourselves, to unlock amorphous and sort of amorphous psychic energies can be harnessed and used to change the world. Anyway, I talk about it in the book Revelation. If you can afford it, get it. I'm going to try and get you a free chapter for the mailing list. I'll get you some news on that. Hopefully it will be in the next email. Will you remind me, Demaya, to get a free chapter? We'll get a free chapter for you. Here now is a little question for you. That new side channel, by the way, that's going to be out on 25th of March. Everything's going to get changed on 25th of March. We've changed the look of everything. I've even got a new logo. I hope you like it. I'm going to need to name it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's a question from the audience. It's from Bronson Taylor. She go, or he go, I find myself pouring all my spare money into murals and street art that don't make any income, only street credit. I guess what I'm trying to understand is the politics. How do I play the politics in the art world or find mentorship? Street art is an important world. I attended an exhibition with Shepard Fairey at a place called something like MoMo or MoMA, some place in America anyway, Los Angeles, I can't remember the name of it, but I see some incredible art there. I think it's the most important art movement in the world, in that the art is there in your face. It's a comment that's challenging the corporatization of public space just by virtue of its own existence, that it's there, that it's present, that its materials are organic. And knowing Shepard Fairey the way I do, his art had to be practiced in this sort of illicit way. He's been arrested a ton of times, so Shepard is the person to learn about. Also, he's a very socially conscientious man, and I bet he would offer some kind of mentorship, but I guess that dude's busy also. So I would find other, if it was me, I was in your position, I'd find other street artists that I admire. I would continue to create work that I love, and I would seek out that mentorship with someone that you closely admire. Get close to them. There's people that I mentor in this crazy world, and that's usually happened as a result of the other person's enthusiasm, kindness, dedication, devotion. So that's what I would suggest to you, Bronson. And as for, ultimately, I suppose when you talk about the politics of the art world, I guess you're talking about the monetization of your work, which is something that we all deal with as artists. And, well, mate, the monetization of art, I don't know how you monetize street art directly. I think that can be prohibitive until you reach a certain level, like, you know, Banksy or Shepherd or whatever. So I would look at other ways of creating art that are more easily monetizable, like through graphic design and all that kind of stuff. But this is not an area that I'm an expert in. But what I can tell you, more general principles, is that it is necessary to continue for a long time. My own apprenticeship in the world of comedy and performance lasted 15 years. 15 years. No one gave me nothing. No money. I mean, I had opportunities because I got grants to go to, you know, train and all that kind of stuff, but it was a long, long road, is what I'll tell you. Have you been listening to Under the Skin lately? David Kessler, grief expert, talking about death, death of self, death of loved ones, grieving and bereavement. Magnificent episode, moving and touching. You should check it out. Elizabeth Burton Phillips, she talks about like what it's like to love an addict and things you can practically do to help you if you do love an addict. Techniques and suggestions that will help you. Merlin Sheldrake, expert in fungi, and we talk about some interesting shit on there. It's a real good episode talking about interconnectivity, oneness. He's got a beautiful vocabulary, Merlin Sheldrake. You should check out his book, Entangled Life. You should look at that. And James Nestor, breath expert. His book, Breath and the sort of Science of Breath. I'm learning so much from Under the Skin, and I want you to come on this journey of education and elucidation with me, edification, with me, if you want to, and if you can afford the subscription fee. There's loads of offers available. If you can afford it, you should definitely subscribe. If you can't, that's no problem. Take this stuff for nothing. We've got Vandana Shiva, Marianne Williamson, Edward Snowden, Glenn Greenwald. There's exciting people coming on this podcast. Jordan Peterson's going to be on the podcast. Get your shit together. Don't tell people. That's between me and you, all right? I'm trusting you on this. Here's another question from Victoria Chick. She says, why do you think mental health is such a hot topic in 2021? Well, yes, I think it is somewhat to do with the pandemic. People are being confronted with themselves, and we're losing a lot of our distractions. We can't go to restaurants, cinemas, we can't do the stuff that we used to do. It's very confronting for a lot of people. So I think mental health has been promoted. Also, I'm sorry to say that I think it's a sort of the last vestiges of individualism, people sort of looking at their own selves continually rather than community and others. We are living in the time of the arch-individual. Many people say that part of my success is as a result of my ability to sort of somehow exemplify this. But I know that the solutions will be collective, not at the cost of our individualism, certainly not, but finding where our individualism intersects with the oneness. What advice would you give to young people struggling with mental health issues? Belong to a community, get yourself a program, address the most obvious symptoms first, pick off the biggest problem first. If you've got like a drug problem or a self-harm problem or a food problem, address that first. You need to do it collectively. There are support groups available. If you're a young person in the UK, you might want to talk to someone at The Mix. It's a sort of online mental health support group. But there are loads of things that exist for mental health, and we'll put some links in the description for this video that you're watching, and maybe some suggestions in the body of the email that you've just subscribed to. Another question now. Remember, I've told you about that 10. If you can get 10 people to sign up to a mailing list, I'll do a 10-minute Zoom chat with you. So get that shit together if you can prove that you've got 10 people to sign up to the mailing list. And also, here's a final question from Zach Almond Riley. What's your best advice for moving on from an abusive relationship when you still have feelings for the other person? You got to move on. And as for your feelings, you have to just spend some time. Abstinence plus positive change. Abstain from the person. Block and cut off from your phone. Get rid. And then start to make positive changes in your life. Address what it is that makes you think there's something positive about an abusive relationship for you. What is it that you don't love about yourself? What have you not accepted about yourself? What are you outsourcing about yourself? These are the things you need to address, Zach. Otherwise, you will not only, you could go back to that person, or you'll just create another relationship that has comparable conditions. We've seen it time and time again. Remember now, my book Revelation, pre-order if you can. The link is in the description. The link is in the main body of this email. I'd really love you to get it if you can afford it. It's a fantastic book, or Audible original, and I'm very proud of it. Stay with us. Stay on the mailing list. Get other people to sign up. Stay with this Nexus Collective cabal. I want you as a member of this community. Here are some comments from last week's video speaking about Hannah Arendt. Annette said, speaking of tree interconnectedness, have you ever read The Secret Life of Trees? No, I ain't, but I bet I would like it. Cheryl Goldstein, thanks Russell. Look forward to learning and growing. Thanks, Cheryl. Victor Urbane, I have read about Arendt and Eichmann's trial recently. It's a hell of a synchronicity. I should probably join you on Thursday. Yeah, you better. Helen Mills, thank you, Russell. Would love to chat on your next Zoom. Well, We'll be releasing the link in the next email that we send to you. Make sure you open it, and I'll see you on there. Thank you for subscribing to this mailing list, this cabal, this elite, this group, this nexus. Speak to you soon. Love you. Mwah.